Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrea and I'm your host here at the Knitting PT. I'm an orthopedic physical therapist who also happens to love knitting and yarn and all things fiber related. And this is my podcast where I talk to you about my works in progress, my finished objects, any yarn acquisitions or yarn related acquisitions that I have, and I also talk about a wellness tip at the end of every episode. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, thank you for checking me out, and I hope that you stick around. So I am popping back in. I know in my last episode I said that I might not pop back in before my move, but I just have several things that I wanted to show you all. So I decided to pop back in, and also just to, I guess, podcast one last time in my home. I also got new equipment. I decided to splurge and get myself a nice camera specifically for my podcast and for some vlogging that I'm hoping to do in the future. And so I'm kind of testing out that equipment as well. Hopefully it is better quality and you can see everything better. Yeah, but if you see me looking off in the distance, because I'm checking the camera and making sure that everything is in frame and everything is looking good. Okay, so first of all, I have not finished anything yet since the last time I podcasted. I filmed last episode, I think like 9 days ago. So really like it hasn't been that much time. So I haven't finished anything, but I have made significant progress on several things. But first, before I forget, let me talk about what I'm wearing. I always forget to do that when it's not something that's a new FO. So I am wearing my Nirvana sweater. This is part of my Monet capsule collection, which if you're new here, you don't know what that is, you can check out, I believe it's episode 1. I think it's episode 1 that I talk about my Monet collection project for the year of 2021. So this is August's sweater, and this is a Nirvana sweater by This Bird Knits. I modified it to be a short sleeve. It is an all-over colorwork sweater. And the yarn I used, the dark blue, is by 3 Irish Girl yarns in their colorway Skinny Jeans, and this beautiful contrast color, this beautiful variegated tone, is by the Red Pansy, and this is part of her Monet collection for the year. Every month she comes out with a colorway that is inspired by a painting by Monet, and this one was August, and I cannot remember the painting name, but all the information will be down below so you can see. And anything that I talk about, any makers, any designers, any dyers, any shops, I link them all in the description box below, along with all the links you can find me at. My website, my Ko-Fi, my Patreon, my Instagram, Ravelry, where I put all my project info. You can find that all down in the description box below. Okay, so that's what I'm wearing. So onto my whips. So I made significant progress, I think, on a lot of my whips. So first is my September Monet sweater. This one is the Earth and Air by James Watts. Let's see, where's the front? I believe this is the front. So I have, since the last episode, I finished the back, the front and the back, and I've seamed them together. All I've got left are the sleeves. So again, these colors, the dark red is Bordeaux by Knitting for Olive, and the variegated is by the Red Pansy. This is in September's colorway, which is the Rose Walk. Look how beautiful it is. I'm really loving how it looks worked up now. If you can look at it, you can see there's like a slight line going across. That's just from where I think the variegated yarn actually matches with the Bordeaux. So it's creating that illusion of a line. Yeah, I love it. I just need to knit some sleeves. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. I've been trying to get more headway on my test knits. But I'm hoping to have this finished soon. Hopefully by the next podcast episode, I will be able to show you. And so, just in case you haven't seen before, let me show you what Monet September looks like caked up. Oh my god, I love this new camera and how it focuses on I love it. It is so clear. I hope you guys are seeing this too. Yeah. Anyway, So that's Rose Walk by the Red Pansy. Okay, there's that. Last time I also showed you my other whip, which is a test knit for Knitsisu for Jill. This is her coffee cardigan pattern, which is a V-neck cardigan, open front cardigan. I made a lot of progress actually since. Let's see, do I have it inside out? Here we go. Last time I showed you, I think I was still working on the raglan increases for the yoke. I have since almost finished the entire body. Look at it. This yarn is boucle yarn, DK weight. This is by the not Red Pansy, I'm sorry. This is by J'adore Fibers. And this is her one of a kind slate color. I did not alternate skeins. It's a little too lazy. So you can see here, I don't know if you can see it on camera. I can see it very clearly when I put it on. But you can see the variation in the yarn up here. And then where I switch skeins, the second skein I used was a little slightly more solid and less variegated. But I don't mind. Let me show you what it looks like on. I am so excited to have this done. So I think hopefully today or tomorrow I'll have bound off the body and then I can work the sleeves. I'm hoping to have this done next week. Make sure I don't lose any stitches in the process. Okay, so look at this. So you can see it's a V-neck cardigan. It has a V-neck here. I love that because then it kind of lays nicely. And look at this. Look at that texture of that blue clay. It is so soft and cozy. And I don't know if you can see, it hits me kind of right. It's kind of hitting me mid-butt. Is that a term? I can't even show you the end of it. But it is supposed to be a long cardigan, and you have the option to add pockets, which I definitely want to do. So I want it long enough so that I can put my hands in the pockets and not feel like my hands are like all the way up here. So I am going to knit it a couple inches longer. But I am loving it, and I cannot wait. I'm pretty sure I will have this done by the next episode because it is also due soon. So I do want to make the deadline as much as I can. Oh, and then while I'm at it, since I have this new camera, let me show you the stitch markers I have on it. This is by Denim and Rain. She is a new maker I found recently, and I'm so glad I did because I'm obsessed with her stuff. Look at the stitch marker. Oop, it's clear. Look how beautiful that is. I'm gonna hold it against here so you can see it better. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. I love him. Okay. I've also cast on another test knit. This one is another one in boucle yarn. It is by Jessie Mae, and this is her winter crop sweater. So I'm still doing the raglan increases right now. I haven't gone very far. But look how fluffy and chunky it is. Show you the right side. Look at that. It is so soft and squishy and cozy. I love it. So this is done in Woolfolk and their flat bulky base. Look at this. Yeah. It is so light, so fluffy and chunky. Yeah. So that is my newest cast on that I've been working on. This is due beginning of December. So I should have this one done too. I really want to make the deadline on this because this is my first time testing for Jessie and I do not want to let her down. And the stitch markers I'm using in this first one, my beginning of round stitch marker is by Knit Boop. This is her Edelweiss charm. And then my raglan increase stitch markers are by Yesenia of Senia Studio. Yeah, look how beautiful these are. Yeah. I had mentioned the last episode that my family are moving. We are moving to the East Coast. Right now we're in Texas, and we are driving up. So we're going to take about 4 nights and 5 days to drive up there. We're going to stop along the way in some major cities and visit places we've never been. And so I will have a lot of knitting time, so I'm hoping that I will make a lot of good headway on all my test knits and all my whips in that time. I am also hoping to vlog our whole experience. I'm really excited to kind of capture this pivotal moment in our family's life, I guess, in our history as a family. I don't know what to call it. But I think it'd be really fun to watch later for memories and for my kids too. I may or may not share it here on my channel, or I may share like bits and parts of it. I haven't decided yet. But part of that is also because I've decided that I do want to try to be part of Vlogmas as much as I can this year, even though my life will be probably really busy and really kind of upended into chaos as we're trying to settle into a new place. I do want to document that. I think it's really important to have the memories of this time. And so I'm going to try to do Vlogmas. They may not be more than like 5-minute long videos each day, which I honestly think is probably enough anyway. So stay tuned for that. We'll see. I may be overestimating how much work I can actually do, but I want to at least have everything documented. Even if I don't come out with a video every day, I hope to at least put something together at some point. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was a short tangent. And the other reason I want to hop on here today was also to show you some of the yarn I have gotten recently. I know you're thinking, you're moving, why are you still getting things? And part of it is some of them were orders that were coming in now. The other part is I went to yarn shops. The other part is they were gifts. So first, let's see. So first, let me show you a book I got. So this is not a new book, but this is Interpretations Volume 7 by Joji Locatella and Vera Machiavelli. Every year they do a collaboration every year where they come out with a book called Interpretations, where each of them, they have a theme of words, and they each interpret the words into a pattern. And I have been looking at this book for a while, and I finally bought it because I had some points at my local yarn store, which I needed to use up before I left because they're like physical points, like they're not online points. So I wanted to use them up before I left, and so I decided to use it on this. There's some projects I definitely want to make in here. One of them is the Jessie Mae cardigan. There's a few other ones. I'm trying to find which ones they are, but this book is beautiful. Another one, Changing Paths. And there's also this beautiful, is it a brioche sweater? I think it is. It's called Modern Vintage. Look how cozy that looks. Yeah, so this is Interpretations Volume 7. They come out with one every year, so Volume 8, I think actually should be coming out soon, because I think this came out near the end of the year last year, I believe. Something like that. I just remember it was like wintertime when it came out. Yeah. So that's what I got. I also got an order in from House of Ala Mode from her online shop. And this is Woolfolk. I've been a little obsessed with Woolfolk recently. Last episode I talked to you about all the Woolfolk yarn that I have for my test knits, so I picked up some more. This one is their base Snow, which is a fingering weight kind of marled. I believe, is that how you describe it? Like a marled fingering weight. This is 223 yards for 50 grams per skein. Look how pretty that is. This pretty marled white and pink. Pale pink, like a rosy, like a light rose. It is so soft. And that's the thing about Woolfolk yarns. They're like so soft, and they're also really light. Kind of like light and airy skeins too. But I got a sweater's quantity of these. I don't know what I'm doing yet. We'll see. I also got my Woolberry Collective order in, and this was October's. This is the colorway October. Look how gorgeous. In her most recent podcast episode, Bethany of Woolberry Fiber Co. said that when it's knit up, it's supposed to just look like leaves on the ground, you know, and I totally agree it does. In the one she showed, the sock she showed up that she's knitting up in it. So I got a sweater quantity of these. My plan right now is to make a cardigan with them. The Pip and Pin cardigan. Pip and Pin? No, it's the Aria cardigan by Pip and Pin. Sorry. Yeah. Look how pretty. Very autumnal. And then I also, so last week I taught a class at the Sated Sheep, which is a local yarn store here outside of Austin a little bit. Allison, the shop owner, and I connected, and I pretty much just was like, I would love to teach a class if you have me. And she very graciously had me, and 8 wonderful women came out for a class with me last Friday, and it was so much fun. I was really nervous at first. I'm always nervous anytime I have to speak to more than like 1% at a time. And I was really nervous at first, but they were so wonderful. And after 30 minutes of me going over posture and ergonomics and stretches and exercises, then everyone had brought their own knitting. And so everyone sat and knit and chatted. And I walked around and just answered questions, adjusted posture, gave them tips on how to tweak their posture or tweak things that how they were holding their needle or yarn to help them knit with less pain. And it was so much fun. I would love to do this more. And so if you are a yarn shop owner, or if you know someone who's a yarn shop owner and you would love to have a class of this kind of, how to knit pain-free, or just like, yeah, feel free to reach out to me because I would love to come teach at your yarn shop. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed connecting with the women there, and it was so much fun. And I would love to meet some of you guys that way too. So please, if you're at all interested, please let me know. Yeah, and so when I was there, she got some yarn in, Allison got some yarn in, and I, of course, bought some. So first I got some Olan fibers. She is a dyer out of Ireland, and this colorway is Ponderosa. This pretty kind of creamy pink-ish base with some taupe in it, I think. And some speckles throughout. It's like a very subdued springy color. I like it. This is in the single ply merino, 100% merino, 366 meters per 100 grams. I got 2 skeins of this. And then the other thing I got, which I'm a little shocked at still, so while I was there, she got a shipment in from Fig and Posy Fiber Co. And this was a new to them indie dyer that she just brought into the shop for the first time. So I keep looking down because it is shedding on my pants. And I decided to touch the suri because it looks so inviting. And when I held it up to my neck, it didn't feel as prickly or as itchy as mohair does to me. And I always assumed that I was probably really sensitive to suri because I've knit things with a percentage of alpaca in it before and have not been able to wear them. So I assumed that anything with alpaca would probably irritate me as well. And it doesn't seem to. Okay, so now as I'm holding it even closer, like right in the front of my throat, I do feel a slight prickle, but it's like something I can live with. And I've heard some people say that like when your skin warms it, it goes away. But anyway, I was so shocked by the fact that it did not prickle and it actually felt soft to me. Because also when I hold mohair, it feels like I'm holding straw. Like that is how sensitive my skin is. It feels like I'm holding straw. But this one feels so soft. The suri feels so soft. So I'm hopeful that maybe I can tolerate suri. I don't know. So I got 2 skeins of this to try. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I'm thinking maybe the hibernation socks that everyone has been knitting recently by Larkspur Knits. Because I think at least, the skin on your feet is like tougher and less sensitive than the skin on your neck. So I'm thinking maybe I'll start there. Because I would hate to knit like a whole top out of suri and then find out that I actually cannot wear it. Yeah, but we'll see. I don't know. Now I'm wondering if I was just too high on the joy of teaching and connecting with people that I thought that I would be okay. Because now as I'm holding against my skin, now I'm like, I do feel a slight prickle. So I don't know. Maybe I will end up destashing this after all. I don't know. But I think I should at least try it, right? Because what if I'm actually not that sensitive to suri and I've been missing out this whole time? I'm going to at least try it out, and we'll see. We will see. But anyway, this color is Pumpkin Spice. And this is in Fig and Posy's Alpaca Cloud Base, which is baby suri alpaca and silk. It's 328 yards, 50 grams. Look how pretty and rich that is. Yeah. Okay. So I got that from the Sadie Sheep. And then yesterday, I went to go meet my friend Gabriella Treminio of Hello Gabriella. It was my last time I was going to see her before I move. And so we met down by a coffee shop next to our local yarn shop, Hill Country Weavers, which is where I picked up that book, Interpretations Volume 7. And she brought me the sweetest gift. So Gabriella used to dye her own yarn. They were all natural dyed yarn, and then she had to move, and so she hasn't been able to dye in a while. But she brought me like a bouquet of her yarn. I will try to insert a video here that I took of the bouquet when she gave it to me because I had to take it apart. But it was so sweet of her. It was so unexpected to me. I feel so honored that she would gift me her yarn like this. Really, it really touches me a lot. And so she gave me 5 skeins of her yarn on DK weight. This is not 100% non-superwash merino. And so there's no colorway names on these, but they're all natural hand dyed. So there's this one, this beautiful kind of warm neutral. And then there's this darker neutral. And then the red bits are because the yarn bouquet had some dried flowers that she stuck in with it, and some of the dried flower parts like fell off and got on the yarn, and I just couldn't be bothered to pull them all off at once. They will fall off eventually. And then there's this beautiful yellow skein. And a kind of blush color skein. I love this one. It's funny, it looks so good actually with the dried flower stuck on it. Oh, the label's upside down. Yeah. And then I believe this one and the first color are the same color. It looks similar. Oh, maybe not. Yeah. So she gave me this lovely bouquet of her yarns. It is so beautiful. Thank you so much, Gabriella. I can't wait to knit it up. Her and I were talking about what I could make with it. And we were thinking maybe the, what is it called? Is it called Bits and Baubles by Rachel Knits Things? Maybe? Yeah. Yeah. And then she also hand delivered the advent calendar I'd ordered from her of her stitch markers. So yeah, and that's the other thing. And for Vlogmas, I do want to open every day and film every day. The yarn, the advents I have, I did order the Explorer Knits advent, and also I have Gabriella's stitch marker advent too. So I will kind of like open those each day and bring you along on the journey too. So yeah, so that's all my new acquisitions. I did want to show you. I did want to pop in and show you that and just kind of tell me my plans for my channel for the next month too, to expect to hopefully see lots of content, hopefully fun content. You can tell me if you enjoyed or not. Yeah. So that is it for all of that. There probably won't be a podcast for at least 2 weeks, like a full podcast episode like this. There will be hopefully little Vlogmas videos up just starting December 2nd, I guess. But, you know, we'll be on the road next week for 5 days or so, and then we'll be settling in. So I don't expect to be able to film a podcast episode until maybe the 2nd week of December. So, yeah. So for this week's wellness tip, I wanted to highlight paying attention to your body on things that aren't related to your crafting and how that can affect your crafting too. So this is again inspired by my own personal life. So a week ago we were busy packing up everything and putting everything into the moving container for it to be sent out so that it could arrive up there in time when we arrive. And I was doing a lot of lifting and carrying and gripping, and my wrists were so tired, especially like a week ago on Friday after we were loading everything into the container. Like my hand was so tired from like gripping so many things and carrying them, that I actually could really feel it even when I was driving and holding the steering wheel. So when I felt that, I knew that probably knitting would not be a great idea, because if you think about knitting, you know, we're holding even smaller objects. When you have to hold in your hand something even smaller, it requires more strength and more control and coordination from the muscles in your hand and your wrists, as opposed to holding like something large, like a large object. So if your hand's already, and if your hand and wrist is already tired, then chances are it will be even more tired and more fatigued if you require to do something more skilled and more kind of what we call fine motor, which is, you know, little hand things, as opposed to gross motor, which is things like running, jumping, like things that use your entire body. And so when you're in an instance like that, like me, where maybe I use my arms and my hands a lot during the day, And if your hand and your wrist is already feeling tired, probably the best thing to do to avoid any injury, any inflammation, any triggering of any pain is to let your hand and your wrist rest for that day. So last Friday, my hands were really tired from all the moving, and so I barely knit that day at all. I think I only knit when I was teaching that class and I was showing them how to hold the needles a certain way and I was demonstrating things. I really did not knit much that day at all. I usually knit every night for probably 2 hours, and I did not knit at all that night to just really give my hand a rest. And actually, I've been feeling it this week even. Where I've been needing to wear my brace when I am knitting, because I've noticed that I think my hand and my wrists are still recovering from all the work I had to do last week, that I haven't been able to keep my wrists in a good ergonomic posture when I'm knitting, that I am starting to kind of do things that kind of deviating my wrist more, curling it more, just things that inevitably lead to some muscle pain and stiffness and that kind of thing. So yeah, so that's one thing. That's my tip for you, is to just be aware that things that you're doing in your everyday life can definitely lead to some sort of pain or discomfort, which might then be a trigger for you, or not trigger. It could be then a marker for you to know that maybe that day you need to take a rest or a break from any knitting or crafting or crocheting, anything where it requires even more concentration and coordination from your hands. Because that is definitely how you can overdo things and how it can lead into pain. Hopefully that made sense. Yeah, I feel like I've been saying this every episode for the past couple episodes, so I'm really sorry. But I do feel a little off. Part of that's because today was my last day at work. And I think I hadn't processed it at all before today. I've been so busy with the move and with logistics of our new home and all the other things that I haven't actually allowed myself to emotionally process the fact that I am leaving my job very abruptly, my job which I do love, and my clinic, which I do love, even though it's been a little problematic and a little bit stressful the past couple months. Overall, I have loved it. I've been there for 4 years. I helped to open this clinic 4 years ago, and so it very much feels like a very personal thing to me. And yeah, it was really sad to say goodbye today to my patients and to my coworkers. Especially the patients I said goodbye to today were ones I had been seeing for several weeks, and so we've built a good relationship, a good rapport. I get to know my patients fairly well, just because, we have 45 minutes of time together, and I do talk to them about life, and they talk back if they're whatever they're willing to share, and I do get to know some of my patients fairly well. So it was really sad to say goodbye, especially because leaving this job is something that is an external circumstance. All the other times I've left a job, it has been pretty much my choice, my feeling that I am ready to move on and I'm ready to take on a new challenge. And leaving this job, I do feel ready. I do feel like it's probably time to go, but there were external circumstances that forced the actual process of leaving, instead of me being emotionally ready to go. If that makes sense. So yeah, I do feel quite sad. Yeah, I am sad, but I'm also excited just to see what my future holds. Also because I don't know what it holds. This is the first time I'm leaving. Well, no, this is not the first time. But, I am leaving a job without another one ahead. I don't really know quite what I'm going to do next or where I'm going to work next, which is scary, but also exciting because I think it could be an opportunity to try something new for me. I'm choosing to see that side of it. So yeah, I'm going to stop rambling now. And so next time I talk to you all, it will be from my new home. And hopefully I'll be sharing some of my adventures on the road with my family, as well as vlogmas, where I will be kind of doing short vlogs every day leading up to Christmas. I, fingers crossed, have some fun things planned. My kids will be home the whole month, and I have a lot of crafts planned with my 5-year-old. My 2-year-old he just kind of comes along for the ride for everything. But I have a lot of crafts planned for my 5-year-old. I hope to do a lot of baking and cooking. And hopefully I will share it all with you on here as well, you know, and of course a lot of knitting. So yeah, otherwise, any questions or comments, feel free to drop below. Thank you for joining me for this time, and for allowing me to share my life with you, and for all your comments. Thank you also so much for your comments on my last episode, all your well wishes for me and my family. It truly touched my heart, so thank you so much to everyone who reached out, every single one of you. It means so much to me, and I really appreciate it. So until next time, happy knitting, and I'll see you guys from the East Coast. Bye.